All around the world, there are people with broken feet, ankles, fibulas, you name it. But would they be able to survive at Georgia Institute of Technology? We aim to expose and unfold the discrimination against students with mobility disabilities. We observed around campus many issues with handicap accessibility, mainly a lack of wheelchair ramps, elevators, and accessible buildings. We also observed a lack of preventative measures to keep students safe from these possible injuries. To find the roots of these discriminatory problems, we interviewed a few victims, and here is what one of them has to say. Elizabeth Trackman, a victim of ankle breakage after coming to Georgia Tech. So tell me, how did you break your ankle?
Well, it was the first Friday after we began classes here, and I just wasn't used to sleeping in such a high bed. And I'm guessing I rolled over. I wasn't asleep, but so I vividly remember falling, but I fell out of my bed, landed on my ankle, and that was that.
Do you feel like Georgia Tech could have done something to prevent this?
Well, although they do offer bed rails, they don't make them mandatory, and I thought they were uncool, so I didn't get one. So I guess they could make them mandatory.
Bed rails should be free of charge and should be provided when students move in. The prices and the hassle of sending a maintenance request to get a bed rail prevents students from being safe.
Do you feel like this is the first time something like this has happened?
To me specifically?
Just anybody?
Absolutely not. I go places and people ask me what happened to me, and I'll tell them, and then they go, oh, I know someone that happened to also, or that happened to me even. And people have crazy stories of different injuries they've gotten the same way.
So would you say it's easy to get around campus day to day with your injury?
No, it's actually very difficult. I had to use the Stingerette paratransit service, but I didn't have it for about 2 or 3 days when I first hurt myself, and it was near impossible to get to class. I had to have very good friends drive me, or I had to crutch up Freshman Hill.
So was it difficult to set up those rides with the paratransit?
In a sense, I had to call them, and it normally takes 2 or 3 days for all the paperwork to go through, but I had to repeatedly call them and be really pushy for it to take less than 3 days because I had classes to get to.
Did you use the normal buses at all? And
not really, no, because they're not very handicap friendly. They have the steps.
It is unfair that injured students have to go out of their way to be able to get to class. Stinger buses should accommodate well with the handicapped people to begin with.
Are you satisfied with the amount and locations of available handicap parking spaces?
No, especially getting to like central campus. There are spots next to the student center, but if I'm trying to get to the Colk, it's really hard. It's like pretty far from there.
Even though there are handicap bases, there are none located near the Colk, where most of the freshman classes are held.
Does Georgia Tech have a sufficient amount of handicap ramps and elevators?
No.
In your opinion?
No.
No.
Not at all. They do, but they're always really inconveniently located to like where you're trying to go, so you'd have to take a much longer route if you wanted to use it.
So on a note of living in the dorms, is it difficult to get ready on a day-to-day basis with the bathrooms and the showers?
Yeah, well, our showers have a kind of a curb in them. There's like a raised tile, which I'm sure most people haven't noticed, but if you're on crutches, it's really easy to notice it, and the floor is really slippery, so the crutches are really dangerous, you know? I almost have fallen a few times.
Do you think that people with similar disabilities as you have the same problems getting around?
I imagine so. I always see people that are on crutches and I bond with them over how much it sucks, so probably.
Do you feel like you miss out on major campus events due to your disability?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I had to miss the first 2 home football games. I had to miss different meetings and things I wanted to go to. I had like an interview for a club position that I really wanted, like a leadership position. Couldn't make it to that because I was informed of it too late and I couldn't like set up the paratransit thing, so I just missed it. But yeah.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
We call for Georgia Tech to embrace its reputation for advanced technology and move forward in these areas in order to end discrimination against physically handicapped students.